Good evening, my name is Steve Darnell. Tonight we're going to tie one of the legendary flies of Ray Bergman called the Alexandria. Ray Bergman was born in 1891 in New York, in Nyack, New York, and he was at one point in time the editor of the Outdoor Life magazine, which many of us remember. He was a notorious or a real true artist at the fly tying bench, and he tied a lot of wonderful streamers. As a matter of fact, if a collection of his flies showed up at Sotheby's, they would fetch a very, very handsome price. First, I would like to introduce the materials that we're going to tie. The Alexandria is a more difficult fly to tie because of the materials. The fly will be tied with a peacock sword. This is an example of the peacock sword. As you can see, most of the fibers or the feather is on one side. Very, very unlike the peacock eye, which this is an example of the beautiful eye. And when we think of the standard peacock feather, this is what we think about. As you notice, the peacock feather is used a lot in fly tying. This is called the herl. Can you see?
Yeah.
This is called the herl, and you can see it is very, very straight. Very, very straight. However, the peacock sword is very, very, it has a natural curve to it, and as you can see, it has more of a green color to it as well. Peacock herl comes in two colors. When you're purchasing it, it comes in the bronze or the green. The green will be more like this, and the bronze will, as it indicates, is a bronze color. This fly is again more difficult to fly because of some of the materials that we're going to use. First, it will have a tag, or sometimes called a tip, that's going to be tied out of floss. Floss is a very difficult material to use because it catches on any small imperfection on your finger. So it makes it difficult to handle. We're first going to start. We're going to cast our thread on right up at the eye, and we're going to extend to the back of the hook, laying the wraps side by side. When you get close to the tip of the hook, be careful not to catch the hook because it will break your thread. And extend all the way back to the back of the barb. As you can see, we're going to extend, we're going to tie on the red floss about midway of the barb, and then we're going to extend to the back of the barb, and it will be going slightly downhill around the shank, around the curve. Okay. Starting at the back, using the pinch method, we're going to tie on the red floss and then bind down the red floss. And as you can see, from my vantage point, I can see that the floss is already caught on my finger and is trying to create issues. All right, once I get it bound down, I'll cut off this tag. I'll bring the thread up a little bit closer to the front, out of my way, and then I'll take the red floss, and I will create the tag, keeping. Okay, we're using thread, black thread, and it is sometimes hard to see. So we've changed the background to green so maybe you can see it a little bit better. Now we're going to take the red floss and we're going to wrap it in touching wraps up to the front of, as you can see, it is, so a little twist helps it hold together. Again, try to keep it away from the tip because it will break the floss. Okay, we'll see how that works. Okay. Okay, that makes the tag, sometimes called the tip. All right, now we're going to cut off the excess floss. Okay. Now we need some of the fibers of the sword. Okay, I have selected about 6 to 8 fibers off of the sword, and as you can see, it's about a ½ inch long, maybe a little bit shorter, 3/8. And this is to be bound right at the front of the tag, the red tag. Okay, now I'm going to take the fibers and lay them right on top of the shank, and I'm going to bind them down to create body. Okay, we're going to completely cover up the fibers, but we're going to go right up to about 1/8 of an inch from the eye. And then we're going to cut them off. Okay. We're trying to create a collar right at this point, which will be important when we put the wing on. Now I'm going to go back over the fibers all the way back to where we tied on, and we're going to create some body to the fly. Again, stopping here and creating somewhat of a shoulder. As you can see, here's the bare hook, here's the shoulder that I'm talking about. We're going to go back one more time, again creating body, and this time we're going to stop there and we're going to add a piece of tinsel. Okay, the tinsel that I'm using has 2 colors, gold on one side, and this particular piece has green on the other side. I'm going to, on the back of the hook, attach the tinsel at a slight angle. I'm going to take my thumbnail and hold it right on the side of the shank at a slight angle, about a 45-degree angle, and then I'm going to bind down the tinsel. Okay, that's hard to see, but it's on the back side of the hook. I'm going to clip off the tag. And I'm going to advance the thread up to within about 1/8 of an inch of the eye. Again, building the body. It's important for the thread base to be as smooth as possible because the tinsel will show every imperfection in your thread base when you wrap it around. All right, we're going to stop right there. Okay, now we're going to wrap the tinsel. And as you can see, the gold side is out. and you wrap it just slightly overlapping. And we bring it up to within about 1/8 of an inch from the eye. And then we will tie off the tinsel. Clip that off so I can maneuver okay. Flip this off. Okay, now we're going to attach the wing. And this is where it gets tricky. As you can see, I've cut off sections of the sword, and I'm leaving them attached to the midrib. The reason why is because of the curve. If you remove these fibers, they will twist around and they'll be sticking in all different directions. So what we're going to try to do is to leave it on the midrib, kind of crunching the midrib. And you can see that way it keeps all of the fibers all in one direction. If you cut them off, they will be all over the place. Okay, I'm going to switch hands. Again, leaving it attached to the midrib. And now attach it right in front of that shoulder that I created. That they're trying to get crazy on me. All right, now once it's attached, we're going to carefully cut it off the midrib. I feel that I'm crowded the eye a little bit, so try to remember that when you're doing yours, when you're tying yours, not to crowd the eye. It was trying to twist around on me. You can see the tinsel's underneath and the wing. Now the final touch is just a small amount of red Marabou. Is the throat. The original recipe calls for red Clarion fibers, and we're making a substitution here. I'm going to turn it over so I can attach it. make the eye. The whip finish. Again, I have crowded my eye, so try not to crowd the eye on yours. You put some head cement. And the fly is finished. Great fly for trout and bluegill. The metallic fibers of the peacock, all fish just go crazy over it. Okay, again, going over the parts of the fly again. This is the wing. The wing is made out of peacock's sword. And then right behind it, the tail is also peacock's sword, right here. The red tag at the very back is made out of red floss, and then the body itself is tinsel, gold tinsel. And then the throat, the red throat, is made out of marabou. Again, a great fly for trout and for bluegill. The iridescent colors of the peacock, fish just find it irresistible.